Evan,
Molly, how are you?
I'm agreeing with Alex Jones because Alex Jones said Donald Trump is crazy and that we need to do the 25th Amendment. I don't think I should be agreeing with Alex Jones, but he sounds more sensible than all the Republicans in Congress.
Well, this is really what we're dealing with is that this whole Iran thing has been the strongest, the biggest stress test of this MAGA idea that we've seen the entirety of Trump's arrival on the scene, right? The whole thing is that this is the guy who said, I can go out on Fifth Avenue, I can shoot five people, and people will still love me. I can do whatever I want. And as this Iran thing has both begun and gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, we have seen more and more people who were, fellow travelers with Trump and with MAGA get really freaked out. I mean, Alex Jones has kind of had his ups and downs with Trump. And, Marjorie Taylor Greene is somebody out there who, she's saying for the Fifth Amendment as well. And she's had her ups and downs, obviously. But you mentioned Congress, Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, who is like a
Right.
pretty MAGA-y guy. He didn't say 25th Amendment, but he did say the rhetoric that Trump has been using, the promises he's making to attack civilian infrastructure in Iran, this is over the line. This is stuff
Yeah.
that I hope it's blunt or I hope it's not real. You're really seeing a blowback on this president and on this White House from like people who he never has to worry about usually. Now he
Yeah.
really has to worry about them.
Yeah. I think today I went into Morning Joe this morning and like the vibes were like, oh my God, this is really scary stuff. And it is like this, Democrats spend so much time being like, we can't break through. When can we break through? How do we break through? How do we get people to hear our message? Like, this was something, those crazy tweets, like, I think it's hard to find someone who's not, like, very freaked out about 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, look, I can tell you, my texts all day are like from strategists and stuff who like wanted to say snarky things, what's going on in the political world. This person's an idiot. Oh, look at this idea is never going to work, that kind of thing. And today, one of them just texted me and said, can I say something like really dark? Do you think that bombing back to the Stone Age means like the nuclear codes? I mean, what are we
Right,
talking about? And obviously,
right.
I have no answers for any of this, but people are like actually pretty freaked. I mean, this is the president of the United States saying this stuff. And I think to more than just kind of this moment, because who knows what's going to happen. We're all sitting around waiting to see what this actually means. But there has been a real shift in the rhetoric and tone of how we think about our military, in every way. Obviously, you can think of many mistakes the military has made, many things that the military has done that we wish they hadn't done, or a lot of people wish they hadn't done. But this is the first time I can really think of a president saying, like, yes, civilians, we are coming for you. We are going to punish you for the actions of your government. That's what we are actually going to do. That's our plan. And not only we're going to do it, we're going to wipe your civilization off the map. This is just not stuff that you hear people talk about. And it's one thing when it comes from like sort of like a blustery person on social media, but when that person is the commander in chief, it really sends a pretty chilling message, I think, all around the world, right? I mean, this is the one military that can actually do the thing that Trump is promising. And we don't know if he's going to do it or not. But the fact the promise has been made feels like a certain set of glass has been broken, right? A certain kind of thing that we didn't ever really talk about that we could actually do, but we won't do. We're not those people. Now maybe we are. It's very confusing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I also think there are no grown-ups in the room. There is no John Kelly. There is no like, the closest you get to a John Kelly is Susie Wiles, and Susie Wiles is allowed to stay in that job because of her refusal to say the hard things to Donald Trump, right? So there's no one who can say like you can't do that. It's a war crime. And that's why the refusing illegal orders video got Trump so upset. Now, today, Tucker Carlson said the exact same thing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be indicted for saying that or not, but yes, listen, I think that there are people in this political movement who are really concerned about the future, their political future. Like this
Right.
is a group of people who came in because they really had the Democrats on the run, right? They really had like this wokeness stuff that really kicked off and kicked off a whole bunch of internet debate. Remember Joe Rogan? Oh my God, Joe Rogan, he's like the best, and he loves us now, and he's moved away from the Republicans as well over this
Yeah.
stuff.
Theo
And so I
Vaughn.
think that and so I think that when you think about the people who are saying that, when you think about Tucker Carlson and these folks, they're not having an epiphany today of like, oh
Right.
my goodness, I can't believe I was wrong about MAGA. I was
Yeah.
wrong about it. No, they want MAGA to do the things they've always wanted it to do. They think that this is going to cost them the opportunity to do that. That this is
Yeah.
really that they're really moving away from having any political relevance whatsoever. And right now it's them saying it. There are a lot of Republicans who have to run for office in the next few months. Few of them are saying it, but they're the
But they
ones who are going
will
to be on the
be.
front end of this thing. Well, I don't know if they are or not, because that's the thing. Trump is very powerful over them.
Right.
But this thing that you're hearing is people crying out, I think we're losing the plot here, much
Right.
less the really dangerous, scary things we are talking about. But there is this fear that like this is going away from us. We had a chance to, break the universities and take over all the media outlets and,
Right.
silence all these people we've always wanted to silence, maybe roll back the calendar on LGBT rights, all that stuff was
Women's
in their
voting.
hands.
Yeah.
Right. And now, and this kind of adventurism in Iran could cost them that. I think that's what they're afraid of.
I think that's a really good point. The thing is, Jesse and I have this ongoing argument about it's not really an argument. We have an ongoing conversation about Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro is losing his audience. And the question is Ben Shapiro losing his audience because of anti Semitism or because he is still towing a pro war line, which the rest of MAGA really, unless you're Trump, there's pretty much no one who is, there's not no one, but it's very hard to sell this war to MAGA when MAGA's whole thing was no war. So the question I think is like, how much of what Tucker is doing is trying to keep the project going, and how much of it is him trying to reflect his listeners, his viewers, the comments he's getting?
Well, I would say when it comes to that question about Ben Shapiro, the answer can be both, right? I mean, Tucker Carlson and these folks have really engaged in some rhetoric and invited in rhetoric. I mean,
Yeah.
look, it's, these group chats that have been exposed and things like that.
Right.
It's been pretty bad on the anti Semitism front.
Right.
But also, I can say that there would be nobody who would advise anyone in American politics at this moment to start a war with Israel. The
Right.
country, Israel itself, has really trashed its reputation among basically every American under the age of, I don't know, 50, maybe even
Right,
younger than
right,
that. And so there is that aspect of like the more sort of standing with Israel that you do, the sort of less appealing you are to a broad swath of the electorate. In addition to that, there is this real kind of, it has never really gone away, but like sort of like breaking out anti-Semitism that people are talking about. But this gets us, this pulls it away from Tucker to the other side of the conversation too, which is that it's still not entirely clear that what the Democrats totally think about this moment, right? Because they have their own sort
right,
of political issues to deal with. So it's not like you're seeing a lot of lawmakers say, I mean, you're seeing an increasing number say, but you're not seeing a lot of them say, hey, if we were in power right now, we would shut this whole thing down tomorrow. It would be over. All the money would go away. Everyone would be pulled out. We'd be finished with this whole conflict. You are seeing a growing number of Democrats starting to talk like that, but you still, just a couple of weeks ago, my colleagues, were in the Senate talking to to senators. And you could find plenty of Democrats who were like, well, I could be open to funding this war if they were, if they made a good enough case to me. This is still a problem for the Democrats too, to figure out sort of where they stand politically in this moment. Ben Shapiro was facing it earlier from, as you mentioned, from the
because
sort
of
of
his
the soup that he
very
is in,
Zionist,
but the
yeah,
soup the Democrats are in also exists, and they have not yet figured out exactly what to do. Trump has really blown up American politics by striking Iran the way he has. And the fallout, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be in the end, but we are seeing right now MAGA sort of coming apart of the seams. And we
yeah,
are seeing a really emboldened anti war left now that feels very confident in sort of pushing aside those establishment Democrat notions of being, afraid of being cast as peaceniks or whatever, or
Yeah.
too soft, and saying no, well, this is bad. We're not doing this. No more money for this. Any of this, this is all bad. Even to the point that some people like AOC are talking about no more military aid to Israel at all. The Democratic Party's having this conversation too. It's different and sort of uglier on the Republican side, from my read of it, but both are sort of in it.
It's so insane because it seems so obvious nobody wants this war. The fact that we're even involved in it is insane. It's for no one. It does nothing. The fact that they could have maybe had a nuke, like, that's not a reason. If we're gonna go to war with people, like, it just feels such a moment for moral clarity. Like, nobody wants this. It makes no sense. Nobody shopped us any bit of information as to why we would be doing this. And so you have no explanation for it and why we're in it. I mean, there's just, in my mind, unless you're Netanyahu, even if you're just a random Israeli, unless you're Netanyahu, there's absolutely no reason for this war.
Well, I'll say the way I look at this whole moment in time now is just if you think about Trump as being Biden, it all makes much more sense because what happened with Biden is that a lot of people who voted for Biden thought he was going to run for one term. And all of a
Right.
sudden, people are like, well, look, if you parse the words that he said, he didn't
Right.
actually say that. So, he's running again. And that's actually not a lie. He didn't lie to you. With Trump was like a lot of people who supported Trump were like, this guy doesn't like wars. This guy's
Right.
against war. The Iraq war he thinks is stupid.
Right.
He called out John McCain for like being shot down in
Right.
Vietnam. Like
Right.
that was
Right.
a
Right.
stupid thing. Like
Right.
this guy's against wars. I'm a peace guy. I don't like wars. I'm against it. Maybe I'm going to pull us out of helping Ukraine. That's how against war I am. We're
Right.
going to be done with this.
Right.
And then now that the war has happened, his people are doing the same kind of parsing that Biden's people used to do. Of like, well,
Right.
actually, he's always said Iran, and there's a little bit of a thing here, and there's a little bit of thing there. You know, this is that thing, the old adage, when you're explaining, you're losing. Like they are
Right.
really trying to explain, and they cannot get people like a broad swath of their own base on board with this. And that is a huge problem for them because they had to convince the whole country, especially with this escalation that has been promised, right? If this escalation really is real, and we don't know where we're sitting right now what's going to happen, but if you can escalate this war into more and more and more without public buy-in, that really is a real sort of uncharted territory for me in my lifetime. Like I've never seen anything like that. So I don't know what that would do to politics, but I don't think it would be good for the guy in charge.
No. And it is, I mean, even now, the fact that we're seeing such high level defections from MAGA. I mean, obviously they're not defections, but the fact that we're seeing people like Tucker speaking out, that's meaningful. He spoke out before, but it's so loudly, and the sense that Trump is so unhinged is a real breakthrough moment,
Yeah, I
whatever
mean,
that
25th
means.
Amendment is not even criticism. They're literally saying remove this man from
Yeah.
office now. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that you could never have said before, and they would never say because there were a lot of people who really liked Trump a lot. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens with these guys down the road. If this is in fact actually Taco Tuesday and not war escalation Tuesday, if they change their tune tomorrow about what Trump said about civilization being wiped off the map. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But this is really for them, I think that they do not feel afraid of crossing this bright line now, which is saying that Trump is
Right.
actually a bad
Right.
president. This is not going well. We need to stop this now. Which again is sort of some voices were starting to say that about Biden. They were ignored by the establishment, kind of like what's happening now. And it did not work out that well for the
But
Democrats.
But you could not, I mean, Biden, like, just for a
Yeah, I
minute
mean,
here, you would
I'm not drawing a
never,
direct
right,
line here
right,
between the two things. I'm
because
saying like I'm
because
saying there are
like,
voices. Yeah.
imagine, right, Trump is bombastic, but, like, imagine Biden even being like, "We might bomb this country back to the Stone Age," and, I mean, the rhetoric was so shocking, and this is for Trump, who is so shocking that, I mean, I think there's a feeling that it's hard because Trump has plumbed the depths, right? I mean, over
That's
the
right.
last decade, we've certainly seen tweets where we've been like, "Huh?" But this weekend, between his, like, his tweets about Easter and the sort of like anti-Muslim stuff in the tweets, and then his stuff this morning about Iran, like it's hard to see this not be a huge escalation in his inability to use his frontal lobe to moderate his behavior.
Well, I can't even go that far. I mean, we've been talking about Tucker and all them. This is what makes this hard for me, right? As somebody who's been
Right.
studying this and covering this since the very beginning, it's all fun and games with this rhetoric until it gets to this point where maybe he's going to bomb,
Right.
Iran in a way that you don't like. I mean, these people, this political movement has embraced a style of sort of violence in rhetoric,
Right.
politics, even actions. When you look at things like the immigration stuff that they were really into, that now all of a sudden to be like, oh my gosh, like, can you believe this? Is quite surprising to me that they're trying to do that. Which is why I sort of keep pushing myself back towards the line of like what they're afraid of is that they're losing their chance to finish their political revolution that they
Right.
started, because
Right.
I had never seen them, they love be laugh at people who are upset by this rhetoric from this president, right?
Right.
I mean they love to, poke at them. They love to do this stuff. You think back to just back in Minneapolis, the way that they treated those two Americans who got shot by federal officials, the language used around them. This kind of thing is like very exciting to them.
Right.
And this level of like, we have to stop this, like 25th Amendment is like, stop this today. That's like the big break button, like get him out of office today. That
Yeah.
is like less of a, in my opinion, I will say, from what I've seen and what I've been reporting on for a long time, that is less of an introspection and more of a, oh, holy shit, like
We've
we
taken it
are
too
in
far.
real trouble now in
Yeah, we've
this
taken it too
election
far,
year.
right? We've
That's
gone
correct.
too far.
Right.
Um, it is
Or we allowed things to to go on
right.
too far, without kind of just like waving a little, like maybe waving a flag a little earlier. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is an interesting case, obviously, but she's had a lot of crazy stuff herself and put up with a lot of crazy stuff for a long time. Now is sort of warning that it's
She's the
bad, but like
canary
a
in
lot
the
of people
coal
already knew that
mine.
it was. I mean, a lot of people will say to her, like, we already knew that it was bad. The question now is, what are you really telling us? And what you're telling us is that maybe something is over that we thought was going to be around for a long time. That's just
Right.
the way it looks to me.
It is kind of interesting though, like today, while this is happening, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the runoff for Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat in Rome, Georgia, is happening. And the Democrat, who is not expected to win because it's a very red seat, is running on an anti war ticket. And the Republican is running in this very strange way of having to defend a war that nobody, I mean, at least in Wag the Dog, the war had a purpose, right? It wasn't a real place, it wasn't a real war, but it at least had, this is like the purpose is what? Because Iran has been a bad actor for the last 47 years. Okay. But like, so has Russia, so has North Korea, so has, I mean, we're just going to go down, why not just any number of countries have been bad actors, and any number of countries could get nukes. So none of that is enough of a reason to go to war with them.
I mean, this has been the problem for Trump and this whole war right along, is that, they sort of debuted the shock and awe aspect, on that Saturday, or you guys, it was a Saturday or Friday. And everybody was like, what? And they have never said what it was. I mean, every speech he's given has sort of been more meandering as in terms of the actual, solutions to this thing. And those of us who were around, for the Iraq war, that's where it gets you. Where, those guys
Right.
had plans, but when
They
those plans
really
weren't
had they
happening,
actually had plans,
it
and they
wasn't working.
actually
And
yeah,
yeah, so we skipped over all that part. We skipped over all the, let's get excited about the potential for this, and just to the like, we're doing it. You got to believe us that we're doing it. And like, that has been very difficult sales job for the president. And so I think it's, I mean, it's a real challenge. It'll be interesting to see what happens in that runoff race, and just how many Republicans sound like that candidate who's running to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican, sounds tonight. How many of them actually sound like that in November? We'll see.
it's hard to imagine that a candidate who sounds like this war is making us safer, which seems like such a stupid line, could ultimately win. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, these congressional races and these runoffs, I mean, the turnout will be tiny. The lines are very tightly drawn. But we saw Mike Lawler, who's kind of like this. He's a real canary coal mine guy. Because he's in this purple
Right.
district. Everybody was saying, Democrats want to get rid of him. And he said, on Meet the Press, I think over the weekend, he was like, look, if this goes on until, for 60 days, maybe Congress should have to do something about that. Well, that would be April 29th.
Yeah.
So, he's starting to throw a couple of flares up about this, but we'll see how long that goes and what happens. But it really is, I think, again, as clean a political failure for a president as we have seen is this war with this president. That's why he has supposed allies on his own base, calling him out. That's why he has, senators that are really strong supporters of his, like Ron Johnson, being
Yeah.
like, hey, they have not figured out how to make this into something other than a mistake.
Evan, hope you'll come back.
Of course.